Welcome back to Riff, our deep dive into the world of Iron Maiden and associated artists. How are you, Ben?
I'm well. I'm excited. I know I say that at the start of every episode,
You're always excited.
but I'm sincere. What can I say? I'm a sincere guy. We've come to the end. We've come to the end of Iron Maiden by Iron Maiden, the self-titled debut album by Iron Maiden. And I mean, it's been a journey. It's been a journey of we've been through many different styles. We've been through many different references. We've stayed both focused and unfocused. And here we are. So this, am I right? This is a suggestion from our wonderful followers of something that we had to include as part of my education, right?
Right, so this was based on some of the feedback to the 2 episodes we did in the middle of Iron Maiden, where we looked at Saxon 747 Strangers in the Night and Def Leppard Wasted Years as pieces of contemporary NWOBHM, new wave of British heavy metal, that were happening at the same time as Maiden, as a kind of compare and contrast. And our audience, a fantastically enthusiastic and knowledgeable audience, thanks for all the corrections of us and your insights, we love them all, suggested that we couldn't continue your journey to the next stage of Iron Maiden without listening to what I guess we might describe as the new wave of British heavy metal track, in that this somehow captured what was happening in the UK with young bands. It both references the past very, very clearly in all sorts of interesting ways, but was to be, this track's hugely influential from a band who sadly didn't manage to get the success that those bands we've just talked about, Leopard, Saxon and Iron Maiden, did.
Yeah, right, okay. Do you want me to? Can I guess it again? Do you think I'll get it?
I don't think you'll guess it. So
Okay.
The band is called Diamond Head.
Definitely would never have got that. Who are Diamond Head?
Diamond Head were a band from Stourbridge in the Black Country, so
Right.
in the Midlands.
What up, Bab? Do you want to play some new wave of British heavy metal, mate? Like that.
So it was British. It did cover the whole of the country, and so clearly very inspired by Judas Priest and Black Sabbath.
Yeah, both also. Yeah.
Midlands bands. And this is a classic tale of mismanagement and signing the wrong deals and not signing the right ones for a bunch of young guys who were super, super talented.
Wow.
I think you're going to find all sorts of interest to dig into here. So the song's called Am I Evil?
Okay.
And there is, for all of you who notice, we're just going to use the static version. This song has become so significant, and the band have continued to play and have had something of a resurgence. There is a remastered and super duper modern video of this song, but I didn't think that was the right track to listen to in terms of compare and contrast.
Totally. We want something that's been taken in and recorded in the same era, otherwise it would be hard to compare. Well, impossible.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay. Well,
Head,
excited. Here we go.
Evil.
Wicked.
Because it's so heavy.
That when the big chord comes in at the beginning, that's wild. It's so suddenly so huge. Me oh my. So I recognise that's a reference. I want to say that's the Planets, Holst.
Yeah.
Is it Holst?
Yeah, I think it's Holst. I think it's Mars.
Yeah, it's Mars, right? Yeah, ominous, scary. I think. Do you know what? I have to admit, before I came to the actual original reference, which is of course the planets, I did wanted to mention that I did recognise this from pantomime, of course. In various moments, it's just a go-to piece of music. Whether the people writing these pantomimes were referencing this or whether they were actually referencing Holst, I'm not sure, but that's definitely like a big, like, you know, we're chasing the baddie kind of scene, isn't it? It's just such an iconic motif.
it's so, and so you can feel the Black Sabbathness of it.
Mm.
It's just big and dark. But of course, Rainbow also used Holst Mars at the start of a track called that I love called Eyes of the World. It's
Right.
got
Okay.
it's got a lot of drama, and whether panto or actually for a gig, you can imagine this is a great piece of intro music, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to walk on stage to this. I'm not sure there's many weddings I could do where that would be appropriate.
It's it's laden.
Yeah, totally. I love this artwork here. We've got like this Sauron-esque character at the bottom left, and like walking in, like, is this person about to go into the beast's mouth of fire, or are they escaping? Who knows? Yeah, borrowed time. Yeah, okay. Let's hear more, please.
Only because you and I were talking about the other day, I'm getting the start of Satellite 15 on Final Frontier
Yes.
from this as well. It's it, it it's part of our musical vocabulary now, isn't it? Pantomime, this song, Holst. We know something's coming. All this,
Yeah.
all this power and energy is being contained, but we know something's coming.
So much angst and anticipation, and also again because we know that we're talking about the new wave of British heavy metal. That again, these are pioneers. This is where it's all beginning. Imagine being someone who's gone. First of all, and the other observation here is that they're clearly educated people. They've spent time listening to a wide range of music. Again, for all the haters out there, they're referencing Holst. And not because it's funny or they think that they're being clever, because it's powerful. So they're not referencing this because they think they're being clever or they're trying to impress people. Holst's music spoke to this band,
Yes,
right?
it's visceral. It's really it's under their skin. It's part. They get and they want to give that effect to an audience. You can imagine being in an audience with even with like 80s, late 70s, early 80s lights. You can imagine this like the build up.
It'd be incredibly overwhelming, yeah, and all consuming. And then the second thing, to be the person who wields that much power with an electric guitar, they've got the ga 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 ga, and then I want to do it. I'm going to have to do it. To be the person who goes. How cool is that? It's just the fucking coolest thing ever.
Well,
of course you should do that.
And Sabbath.
Yeah.
Sabbath by Black Sabbath and Iron Man and those songs using that. Is it a ninth?
That's a fifth.
Okay, so it's that kind of it's that sense of that note, which was I think has been described as the devil's note, and that
absolutely. So a diminished fifth, or the augmented fourth, right? So this is good. We're back to our Iron Maiden covering Grease. But also if we go, the devil's interval, the devil's cadence. I don't actually know anymore whether I used to tell all of my guitar students that like if you played that in the medieval times you'd be sentenced to death, whereas I think that's probably not true, is it?
In the 1980s, if you played that, you were sentenced to teenage me thinking you were the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, quite right, because it's powerful, and that's the thing that we talk about in music all the time. It's this ineffable, indescribable thing. And we go like, this is really powerful. Which is why it's also used in panto, because we want to scare little children when they're all caught up in the story, right? Narrative. Throughout all of these things, it's all about narrative and conveying an emotion.
You set?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, okay, so so much in there already. Just I'm going to do some tapping to break up the two sections. That's what's right there. It's some tapping. It's a tapping solo.
And then some harmonics.
Yeah. Just like here are all of the cool things that we've learned in this new movement of music. Amazing. So again, beautifully controlled and sounds really good. That stuff is really hard. I've talked about this before on the podcast. When you're dealing with that much gain, as you've heard me already do today, as soon as I touch the guitar or I knock it, like a myriad of sounds come out from it, right? That you don't want. And this is back in the time when you don't have gating, you don't have intelligent noise cancelling, you don't have any of that stuff. You've got a guitar into some sort of distortion pedal into a JCM 800, right? Like that's fucking loud. And there is no, so to be able to do all of those tapping things with the control that you just had there is remarkable. And then just to throw it in for the sake of, well, we need something to break up this section, and I can tap really well.
But also, it does. I think they knew they needed to bridge between the ominousness of the host,
yeah.
tension they've built up. They need to let a little bit of the air pressure out before they go into. They've got to before they go into that chuggy riff. They've got to reset.
And again, for the crowd, I can totally imagine, like, if I was playing that show, I'd do the tapping thing and then I'd leave it longer than you expect it, because all of the crowd know that we're about to go. So, like, you wait longer than you think you should, and then it goes in, and that's just going to get, it means it's all the sweeter because you know it's coming, but then they get you with the surprise that they're going to wait, right? I can only imagine that that's probably what they did. They would be missing a trick if they didn't.
I never saw Diamond Head, I regret to say, but one of my bandmates at university, I was fortunate I played with brilliantly gifted people who were tolerant of my lack of brilliant or gifts of any sort. Jamie had grown up next to Brian Tatler, whose band this was, and Brian Tatler had taught my mate Jamie to play guitar.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
And I just think, if you think about the stuff we've listened to from Maiden and the Saxon and the Leopard, no one's quite got this chug. It's a much more modern sound than Nawabum.
Yeah, definitely. This feels much more akin to like those later 80s records, like, Metallica and things like that, right?
Well, these are Metallica's favourite band. Metallica have covered this song. So Metallica's version of this song has way more listens, as you can imagine, than the Diamond Head one. But it sent people back to Diamond Head. They've played with Diamond Head. That's what I mean in terms of influence. This band's influence absolutely transcends their career.
Right. Yes. Okay. I understand.
Why. This is composed and for all it's in some ways naive, it's also mature and thoughtful.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, it's genre defining, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's go back into it. I just want to talk, sorry, before we do go back into it, about the way they use the bass here to just the bass is really kind of the bass is picking out moments to let you know what's coming as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Also, just like there's the palm muting, and we're talking about the riff that we're about to go into, but let's talk about it so that we can go forwards when we do. There's that palm muting in there that's giving that really chuggy, chunky feel. And again, I mean, just for like the callbacks and the references. So all right, so we're going. But it's that same thing, right? You can hear the lineage. Yeah. What? So, say that again.
Beethoven.
What? Smoke in the Water.
Yeah, Richie Blackmore's talked about it's just Beethoven riff reversed.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that. Okay, cool. Right, okay, another episode on Deep Purple.
Another episode on Richie Blackmore. Beethoven.
Yeah. I love that. You knew I would. I'm such a big fan of like switching between halftime and normal time. Like that, I was actually going to comment on that because so that riff in my head before the groove came in, I was thinking it was and then when it came in as halftime to what I expected it, I was like, yeah, obviously now it makes sense. But initially, I was not what I was expecting in this. I love that stuff. And then when it comes in, they give us both, which is so good. That's what we wanted. Right. I wanted both. And I thought, okay, I'll have to accept that this is a halftime thing. I won't get the double time. But they knew I wanted that.
I think as well, it feels kind of grungy.
Yeah.
They've got that. You can just imagine this. It's not really headbanging music. It's much more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's got grit to it versus like a complete clean headbanging hard rocking 80s thing. I shout a lot, well, as in not angrily, but when you're playing live music, it's quite loud, so you have to shout if you want to get an idea across to someone. It's quite often something that I'll shout at drummers that I'm working with to go like, go half time, like do it, go, and it's always just like the most. In fact, I was on tour with a tribute to the Temptations. This is relevant and it works, and you'll find this funny. And you know that song by the Temptations, "Get Ready," which goes. Not jazz though. I really like Motown.
Yeah.
Well, the last night of the tour, I asked the drummer if we could go halftime with it, and the MD was also up for it and allowed us to do it. So on the last night, the five guys playing the Temptations, we play that "Get Ready" theme as they leave the stage, and the five guys playing the Temptations absolutely lost their shit because instead of that nice like hey diddly thing, we went like. That sounded bad, didn't it? But we went. It was amazing. Obviously, wholly inappropriate. But funnily enough, I didn't get invited back on that tour.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the boys and girls. That is the peril of halftime.
There you go.
Shall we go back and let you hear that again?
Let's continue.
She was burned alive, necklace little bitch, for the tears I cried. Take her down now, don't wanna see her face. Blistered and burned, can't hide my mistakes. 27, everyone was nice, gotta see them make them pay the price. See their bodies out of the eyes, take my time. Am I evil? Yes I am. Am I evil? I am mad. Yes I am. As I watched my mother die, I lost my head. Revenge now I sought, break with my bread, taking no chances. You come with me, I'll split you to the bone, I'll set you free. 27, everyone was nice, gotta see them, make them pay the price. See their bodies out of the eyes, take my time.
I just want to talk about that bridge there because I think that under it, that riff is just phenomenal.
Yeah,
Kind of-
totally.
Songs about a witch. It's a cauldron stirring riff,
Yeah.
isn't it? Really.
I was going to ask you, like, what is the imagery of the general vibe of this song? Because I'm getting really vivid imagery in my head from just from the music here, right?
Well, the song is about his mother was a witch, and so the conversation is he evil as a result of his
Yeah,
mother
totally.
being a witch?
And they're really stirring the broth.
Yeah,
Because there's also that mania of like, there's really like stirring the broth, right, or stirring the potion. Like, there's that halftime bits where you're like really stirring, and there's bits where like the
you're kind of dancing around the
faster,
cauldron.
like what ingredients am I throwing in? Ha ha ha!
Yeah,
Like
but
that kind of
he's
thing.
wrestling with is he evil as a result of the fact that his mother was a witch?
Something else that I was just thinking about in that section, they're really, really creative drumming.
Yeah, I often think that's one of the standout things for a young band. Like if you've got to pick, get a good drummer. Like
Yeah.
drummers just rock. And for me, one of the reasons that I end up just listening to classic rock again and again, as opposed to a lot of indie stuff, which I also have liked in my life, is that the indie drumming's just weedy in comparison.
It's nah drumming. Yeah, totally. Compared to metal music. So don't need to open this.
Too much tom and not enough just snap on that
Yeah,
snare.
whacking the snare like there's no tomorrow, for sure. Which I guess brings up the question of metal drummers, and how important they are. With your statement there was a lot, and I'm not saying I feel like this, because so far in this podcast we haven't got to Nico. We're still on Clive, but there is a lot of movement about. There's a lot of doubt as to Nico's appropriateness for Iron Maiden, in his ability to hold down a beat. Mainly, I think, within the discourse that I have with fellow musicians rather than fans.
Oh, well, it's really interesting you say it, because right now, of course, the pushback that Nico's retired and there's a new drummer, Simon Dawson, who I'm sure is just overwhelmed by what's happened to him. But a lot of the pushback is he's a much tighter kind of classic rock drummer, and many Maiden fans are reacting poorly to that because they miss Nico.
And are they noticing that? Are you seeing that in the social media about the tour? Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see, because as time of recording, we haven't seen Maiden yet.
No.
We are, of course, going, which is very exciting.
But we would have seen them by the time this episode goes.
Absolutely.
Goes live.
But I'm really excited to see Maiden recontextualized with tighter drumming.
Yeah, there's also a doubt that sometimes he's getting a bit lost in the songs. There's some complexity here going on.
Interesting.
Maybe a whole other episode, but I can't think of many other genres where we'd be able to name the drummers and care about them.
Yeah,
but that shows how important they are.
Yeah. Well, especially in metal music, I think jazz music holds a similar thing.
Agreed. But here I agree. You're right, because this song is so predicated on the move to the halftime piece.
Yeah.
And there you're completely reliant on the drummer executing that well enough for the band to follow.
Excellent. I mean, amazing drumming playing, and also like the capture of the drum sound here. Like this does sound, again. We'll have to find out when this was recorded, but like the production on it is just massive. All of those tom hits sound huge, versus like, that like Iron Maiden, as in the record that we've just finished. You can hear the room on the drums the whole way through, and it just sounds like a small little studio room where they're trying to make a massive sound. Whereas this is much
a big sound, right?
Totally, yeah. Let's hear more. I'm running free, yeah.
Well, it's like every bit of Nawabum
yeah,
put into one song.
Yeah, totally. It's really encapsulating all of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
if we had another time change there?
Another tempo change for sure.
Yeah.
and a change in feel, because that's shuffled, whereas the rest of it was, and that's again.
Yeah.
I talk about this all the time. Antithesis is such an important thing to appreciate what has just happened and what is happening now. And the fact that they're shuffling that.
I've heard this, I don't know, hundreds of times, so I know what's coming. So my anticipation is double. My anticipation is loaded into the music and loaded into my knowledge of the music, so I can.
But here's the funny thing, right? Because I was anticipating that as well. I knew something was coming, and there were those cues within that music, even though I've never heard it before, that something's coming. And I think that really speaks to the genre and the new wave as a whole, right? That like there are enough of these, can't even describe what they are, these things going on, that means that I know, because I understand the genre, despite having not heard this before, I understand and know the genre enough to go, I know something's coming and I'm excited.
I wonder if one of the things that happens when you get a new genre emerge from its parents. So Nawabum comes from classic rock.
Yeah.
With punk happening over here.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if one of the things that happens is the people who are creating that new genre, or when new metal happened, like the fusion of rap and metal, what they go, well, these are the bits we like about that genre, and we want to really lean into those. And so we liked the moments when we could anticipate these amazing bits. And so we're just going to fill up, we're going to cram our music with those bits that we love.
Yeah, yeah.
So the homage becomes turned up to 11.
So it does. Onwards.
Action now! I'll strip your pride. I'll see you burn in hell. I'll see you ride. Your face is scarred with steel, wounds deep and neat. Like a devil dusted before you, smells so sweet. Am I evil? Yes, I am. Am I evil? I am man. I'll set my residence. I'll watch you by. You can come with me, sweet desire. My face is the one forgotten. My face that's gone. Sweet and timely whore, take me home. Am I evil? Yes, I am. Am I evil? I am man. Yes, I am. Mr. Guitar.
Just want to stop there so we know that this has to resolve somewhere now, doesn't it?
Yeah. I was just thinking, where's the guitar solo? We're having an odyssey already, right? Like I know the guitar solos are about to do the same. It's fun by this point. We're just having a good time. You know,
It's looking out, right?
it's boogie. We're boogieing. It's boogie music, right? By this point, and it works.
Yeah, but it hasn't lost its dark edge. It hasn't lost its menace, I don't think.
I think it has for me a little bit, but it doesn't mean that I like it any less.
No. Because I still think it's got a bit of menace to it. But
Right, yeah.
tell us below when we're 2/3 of the way through the song. Does it have retain menace or is it pure boogie? Let's get back into the solo.
Yes, I am. Mr. Guitar.
Yeah,
Very
mine.
composed. It's like virtuoso but composed, right?
Through composed, yeah, completely.
He didn't just walk in there and go, "Yeah, I know what key this is. You know, I'm going to lay something down and see how we go." That's
No,
every
not at
single
all.
note of that is planned and played against his plan.
That is the clearest reference to Richie Blackmore I think we've had across the podcast so far. You know, there was, and again, even in like the compositional structure of this feels like space trucking. No, sorry, Highway Star.
You mean of the solo? You mean the solo feels like Highway Star?
Well, no, I mean in structure. This feels like Highway Star a bit as well. You can like, in fact, they've gone like, we don't have to write in song form. We can just do cool bit after cool bit, much like Maiden.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But also then like, it does sound like Highway Star in the solo in terms of like the sonic, scalic, melodic bits that they're pulling from here.
You imagine you're Brian Tatler and you're learning to play guitar in
Yeah.
you know in 77, 78, 79. Then you get your own album in 80. Your frame of reference to what you're going to learn to play is smaller than you've had.
Yeah.
Because you've got Brian Tatler and Adrian Smith and Dave Murray and
Jimi Hendrix, Steve
But
Lukather.
he had Hendrix, Jimmy Page,
Yeah.
and Richie Blackmore, and Tony Iommi, arguably. I mean,
Yeah.
guitars and that, but he's and
But
the
again,
number of
not with
albums-
Spotify going, well, you like this, so you might
No,
like
no,
this. It's
exactly.
with you doing the work, going to the record store every couple of weeks to buy a new album.
and then have a mate played it to you, and then playing that song again and again and again, and learning that. So I think that the Highway Star thing is possibly because he'd have had that record, he'd have had that on a Deep Purple record. He just played it again and again. And he'd have taught himself to play that, and then
Yeah.
having taught himself to play that, he did. What am I going to do in my song?
Yeah, totally. It's amazing. It's through composed. The you can tell that because it just goes. It doesn't come. The same sequence doesn't come back once, does it? It's very classical in that respect, and going around the cycle of fifths that it does halfway through that solo, where we've
And
got like sort of this.
it kind of flirts with the tap on this, but it doesn't quite get there, does it? It's all a
Yeah,
bit more...
it's got the Skebada, which is of course a throwback to our Phantom of the Opera episode. You know, the that bit, right? I think he's going like that. Amazing, yeah. It's really, really cool. It's just I'm really enjoying the fact that we've got to this at the end of Iron Maiden, because you're right, it's encapsulating all of it for us, and it's really nice to hear it reflected in a different way that is, again, fresh. I'm clearly really stimulated by it, but it feels so recognizable and at home. Yeah, it's interesting.
Let's head to the end.
Yeah, straight back to that bit.
Yeah, we're having an issue with tracks cutting us off, so I do apologise. But as ever, we urge you to go and listen to the whole thing in its entirety. So apologies, but straight back to that bit. And what that makes me think of is what Maiden became. You and I've talked about this a lot. Became really good at Maiden having a big, menacing riff. That the first time you hear it, you go, "Oh, that's kind of clunky."
Yeah.
And then, like, when you've heard the whole song and you hear the riff again, you go, "Oh, can we go back to the start and start it again?" Because I want that.
Because a song is better when you know the words and you can be involved and you can sing along or hum along. And actually, that is a tale as old as time, which is why I've already alluded to this, and we're definitely going to do it on an episode where I perhaps take the driver's seat and we look at some classical music and make some comparisons between I thought was clearly just Iron Maiden compositional technique, but it seems like it expands beyond Iron Maiden in terms of like structural. That's totally sonata form of like, well, we had a refrain at the beginning which was a reference to Holst anyway, which is
right.
orchestral music. Then we've got our sonata form beginning. So it's almost like there were two movements in this, let alone the form within it, which is where we have exposition of the theme, the development of it, where we take it and we go to different time signatures, we go to different tempos, we do lots of things, we develop the idea, and then we have the recapitulation at the end, which is exactly what we just got there, right?
I think what's really interesting about the moment of recapitulation is that it's so satisfying to know in this instance that you're back in that.
Yeah.
Like you'd think that what you want is to carry on this high, to carry on this, and what you want it to come back to that tight, visceral
Back to
grind
small.
of it.
Big to small.
That's where the power is. And I just listen to that and just go, right, we need to listen to it again. And it's really interesting. I had a chat with some of our followers about which Diamond Head song to pick, and this is clearly the one because Metallica have covered it and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But their other great song of this period is called Heat of the Night, and I prefer it. It's a more rounded rock song. It's less like spiky in the way this one was. And I just always think it's one of the best crafted songs, and it's just there's something about it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And about them.
It's moving. It's definitely a moving piece, right? Because it drags all of these influences and it's reflecting it back in such a perfect way. In fact, it feels perfect, doesn't it? That is the word that you'd use. This is a true accomplishment within the genre, right?
Right, but do you imagine if you gave this to someone who'd never a classically trained musician who'd only, like Elizabeth Saroff, the charismatic voice. Now she's grown to love metal and rock, but imagine somebody like her before she started her journey, and we love her, by the way.
Elizabeth, very much so, yeah.
Like if someone like her had come to this first, what the hell would you make of it? On the one hand, you go, "This is Holst, I get it." On the other hand, you go, "What the hell?"
Yeah, totally. It's funny that you do need a route into it, but I guess that I'd argue the same of like, so like when I play Superstition at the weekend, and everyone just immediately is like on the floor. I still, whilst Superstition in itself is a more accessible piece of music than what we just listened to, I still argue the same, that actually none of that lot dancing to Stevie Wonder in that moment truly understand the context of how we got to Superstition or why it's so amazing, or like listen to any of the records beforehand that lead us to where it is and understand Stevie's journey and how we got from like, Fingertips all the way through to Yesterme, Yesteryear, Yesteryou, like, and then getting through to like Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and then Superstition. No one's putting those together, right? And I think it's an important thing, like, because oh my God, would they love Superstition even more if they had gone through all of that journey?
Yeah, I put this in my Heaven and Hell, Power Slave, Revelations bucket. This is a big, powerful riff that you don't think is going to take you on a journey of joy. Takes you on a journey of joy. That by the end of it, you love the big, powerful riff so much because it was your gateway to that joy in the middle.
Totally, yeah. When you view it in context, it is way more pleasing. And again, that's why it was perfect that we've waited until now to do this, because I think even though that I understand rock and heavy metal and I understand Iron Maiden even more intimately 10 episodes in, or however many we are now versus when we started, I still don't think that would have landed the same at the beginning as it did now for me.
No, I completely agree. And so next week I have a surprise planned for you before we move on to Killers.
Okay, because I thought this was the last. Okay, so we've got one more.
We've got one more.
Interesting.
One more. But anyway, thank you.
It's Superstition by Stevie Wonder.
It's a great riff, by the way. It's a totally phenomenal riff. Thank you all for joining us again. Thank you for your suggestions. Thank you for bringing us to Am I Evil by Diamond Head, and a track that I'm pretty sure Ben is going to be listening to again.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you for showing me.
And enjoy it more and more, and go back and listen to it all, and come back to us with your insights. Keep rocking.